Spice Tree Apartments versus Haley Salisbury.
This case opens quietly, but don't be fooled. What unfolds here is one of the most emotionally heavy landlord-tenant hearings you'll ever witness. At first glance, it looks like a standard eviction for unpaid rent, but within minutes, this case transforms into a heartbreaking collision of grief, financial instability, legal obligations, and unexpected public intervention. You have a young tenant, Haley, facing thousands in rent arrears. You have Gavin, whose name is on paperwork he may not have fully understood. And presiding over it all is Judge Simpson, known for balancing strict legal reasoning with deep empathy. What makes this case so gripping is that it forces the court to confront a question that law alone can't neatly answer. What happens when someone's life collapses faster than the legal system can respond? We're talking about survivor benefits, misunderstood lease obligations, third-party assistance, and a judge who must decide whether this case ends in eviction or in something closer to mercy. As you watch, pay close attention to how responsibility is assigned, how credibility is evaluated, and how Judge Simpson repeatedly pauses the machinery of the court to speak directly to the human being in front of him. This isn't just about rent, it's about what justice looks like when tragedy enters the courtroom.
Also, Gavin, is it Wesleyan? Wesley?
Well, it's
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Okay. Oh, they're in like 8 different screens. Okay, yeah.
Total due at present with court costs $4,735.32.
Me and Haley have not been together since April due to relationship issues. And that's one of the reasons why my mom is involved. She's on the screen with her. She's done most of the talking between Haley and I. She's also communicated with Spice Tree Apartments. I lost my father in a tragic way on August 12th, so I haven't had the best headspace to do this on my own, and that's another reason why she's here. I'd already moved into an employee house free of rent and utilities in Ann Arbor on March 22nd. Before Haley moved into her apartment on April 14th, she asked if I could help her by signing some documents on her behalf. With everything Haley has been through, I decided to sign the lease info because I did not want her to be homeless and her staying at the employee house.
This moment right here is legally critical. Gavin admits to signing lease documents but immediately frames it as an act of necessity rather than intention. In landlord-tenant law, intent matters, but signatures matter more. Courts generally presume that if your name is on a lease, you are legally responsible, regardless of personal motivations. Gavin's explanation introduces a tension the judge must later resolve. Compassion versus contractual obligation. Notice how Gavin emphasizes emotional context, grief, family loss, instability, rather than legal understanding. That's not accidental. He's signaling that this wasn't a calculated financial decision, but a moral one. From a legal standpoint, this raises questions about capacity, understanding, and whether misrepresentation occurred when the lease was signed. Audience question: do you think signing paperwork to help someone should still carry full legal responsibility, even if the signer didn't fully understand what they were agreeing to? Or should courts treat situations like this differently?
Obviously wasn't an option.
Haley, what do you want to tell me?
I was approved for the lease based on a combination of my survivor benefits and Gavin's income. I was not in Ann Arbor yet because I was waiting to start a job here. I didn't start the job yet and do.
I would explain this part right here.
And then the rent hasn't been paid because I don't have the survivor's benefits anymore. They canceled it in June, and then I was in
Haley, hold on, stop for a moment. What kind of survivor's benefits did you have?
I don't know exactly. It was just like SER.
Did you lose a parent?
Yeah, both of them.
And your siblings.
You lost both parents. Okay. Go ahead, ma'am. You want to tell me something?
I really do, Your Honor. So I'm Andrea. I'm Gavin's mother. I've been helping Haley and Gavin navigate this situation, and I do want to clarify from the start, like Gavin did, that they're not dating and they haven't been in a relationship since April. I took on this role as a mentor and advocate to support Haley the past 2 years. I will get into that, and I know she feels uncomfortable with this, but even I'm frustrated and not sure how much more I have in my tank to help, and this young lady needs some help and guidance in this. 2 years ago, not only did she lose both her parents, she also lost her 3 baby siblings because her stepdad murdered everyone. It was a quadruple homicide. And I am mentioning this to you because though she was technically 18, and this is why I'm in her court, because this is all trickling down to today, and I'm not trying to just do the sympathy piece.
The courtroom shifts here. This is no longer just a financial dispute. It becomes a trauma narrative. Gavin's mother introduces facts that, while not directly relevant to lease enforcement, are profoundly relevant to judicial discretion. Judges are human, and Judge Simpson is clearly absorbing the gravity of what he's hearing. Legally speaking, trauma does not erase debt, but it does influence how a judge structures remedies. Eviction courts often have limited flexibility, yet here we see the groundwork being laid for alternative solutions: adjournments, escrow arrangements, delayed judgments. What's especially striking is that Haley herself hasn't shared this information. It's introduced by someone advocating on her behalf, which raises another issue: agency. Is Haley being supported, or is she being spoken for? The judge must now balance sympathy without stripping Haley of responsibility or voice. This is one of those rare moments where you can almost feel the courtroom collectively exhale under the weight of what's been said.
But I need someone to understand this girl hasn't been guided. Because she was 18, she unfortunately, didn't have the assistance of anything else, but she was in that home and instantly became homeless because her home was a crime scene. And I didn't even know she was without a home already for 9 months at that point. Her and my son had been dating on and off. And once I discovered that, that's when I stepped in, because she has literally no mother, no father. All of her siblings were gone except for her 2 younger surviving siblings. And this has been a lot. Now I'm going to cry because she never cries. So I know she owes the rent. She knows she owes the rent. We're not disputing that. But in addition to that, I want you to know that's why my son helped in the way he did in signing this. And he truly, from what I'll show you in the evidence if you need, he did not know he was signing a lease. He simply thought, because he's very naive, and he also should probably tell you he is not a reader. And he thought he was helping her out, truly. And she hasn't even begun to be able to process this grief, because for 2 years, we've been working to get her some housing. We're in her apartment with no furniture at this moment. She's had nothing here this whole time. And we've been waiting for assistance by waiting for a court summons so she could get on her feet, because she did have a job lined up. The very last thing I want to say is that our request is not to not have the amount owed, although I do wish we had some way to work around some of this. But to have them both removed from the lease, because it's demonstrated, and she had just moved in, he's never been in here, that this young lady's not going to be able to pay. And I don't want this affecting her for the rest of her life when she's already so upside down and has had no guidance other than myself with this. And that's the facts. And unfortunately, without burdening you with my problems, my life turned upside down, and I am in absolutely no position to help like I otherwise would. And if that was the case, neither of them would be here today if I could help, but I can't. But I wanted you to know with the context with her, because she's not going to share that with you on her own.
So if it's going to be a circumstance where you're going to be homeless, you got to tell me that.
Not maybe for a minute.
What do you mean by that? Haley, talk to me. All right.
Well, I would rather just not have to keep going through with this.
Okay, now hold.
I to do it all on my own, so.
Losing parents is hard. Haley, I can't even, I can't even wrap my head around that. Okay. But the one thing I can tell you both, life doesn't end, because somewhere out there, while the world doesn't seem like it's a great place sometimes, I believe in the goodness of people. And so sometimes when you let that down and people can see it and you just sort of lay it bare, I got to believe, and I just do believe, that there are people around that kind of help you out.
Judge Simpson does something unusual here. He steps outside strict legal language and speaks philosophically. This isn't instruction, it's reassurance. In eviction court, defendants are often treated as case numbers. Here, Haley is treated as a person who has endured extraordinary loss. But don't mistake kindness for weakness. Judges often use moments like this to prepare litigants for difficult outcomes. Judge Simpson is acknowledging suffering while subtly reminding Haley that survival requires action, not just hope. This moment also foreshadows what's coming: community intervention. When a judge talks about good people, it sets the stage for something extraordinary that will soon disrupt normal court procedure. Audience question: should judges express personal beliefs in the courtroom, or should they remain strictly neutral, even when someone is clearly in crisis?
Okay? And you just can't, you know, Haley, you don't have any reason to have any faith in humanity. You just don't. And I'm not going to try to tell you that you do. All right, but slowly but surely, maybe you'll begin to see it. So I'll adjourn it out a week. Haley, wait on the line. You and Gavin's mom are gonna go into a private breakout with me as soon as I get finished with these few cases that I got here, okay? Court does call the case of Spice Street Apartments versus Haley Salisbury. How much do you owe at this point?
With October now, Your Honor, in the court cost, the total due is $6,043.55.
Haley, how are you gonna get that paid?
Not today, but sooner than later.
Pardon?
Sooner than later.
All right. I mean, the reality is you don't have the money, right? You understand that what that's going to mean is that you can't stay there. So then my question to you is, how soon can you be out? That amount is just what would be a redemption amount, meaning that if you were going to stay, that's the amount you'd have to pay to the landlord.
This is a crucial legal explanation. Judge Simpson distinguishes between a money judgment and a redemption amount. A money judgment simply says, you owe this. A redemption amount says, if you pay this by a certain date, you can stay. That distinction is life-changing for tenants. Here, the judge is clearly trying to preserve Haley's housing if at all possible. He explains the consequences plainly, ensuring she understands that inability to pay doesn't just mean debt, it means displacement. This is where eviction court becomes survival court. The law allows removal, but also offers narrow windows for rescue. Judge Simpson is holding that window open, but Haley has to step through it. If you were in Haley's position, knowing you don't have the money today, would you ask for time? Or start preparing to leave?
If I had to rule on this case today, there would be a judge. I don't want to say that against you either. I mean, I'll be honest with you, but that's what would happen. You got someplace to go?
I can, but if
Haley,
I'm
Haley,
paying,
Haley.
if it's October rent, then are they taking that off? Nothing.
Yeah, no, hold on, darling. Look, Haley, when can you comfortably get yourself out of the property?
I don't know.
Haley, do you have a place to go? Right. As we
I
sit
can't.
here, hold it. As we sit here right now, do you have a place to go?
Yeah, I have a friend.
Have you talked to the friend about moving in? Did you understand what I said, where it's a redemption amount instead of a money judgment? Maybe I was talking to legalese. You understand what I mean by that? So what the plaintiff is asking for is a judgment. They want their apartment back. And they're just saying that if you want to stay, this is the amount you have to pay. Okay, well, let me ask you this, Haley. If you could tell me how much you could come up with today.
And Your Honor, something odd just happened that I just want to bring to the court's attention. As I think Your Honor is aware, you have a very loyal YouTube following as well as other social media following. And I received an email just a minute ago from one of your followers. Obviously, I cannot advocate on behalf of Ms. Salisbury, Mr. Wellesley. I represent Spice Tree. But I wanted to bring to the court's attention that one of your YouTube followers has indicated that many of your followers want to help Ms. Salisbury.
This is unprecedented. A courtroom case intersecting with social media influence in real time. The plaintiff's attorney carefully distances herself from advocacy while still informing the court of something extraordinary. Strangers want to help pay this debt. Ethically, this is a minefield. Courts cannot solicit donations, attorneys cannot facilitate crowdfunding, and judges must avoid any appearance of favoritism. Yet Judge Simpson now faces a reality that the law didn't anticipate: public compassion moving faster than bureaucracy. This moment highlights how modern courtrooms are no longer isolated spaces. They exist within a digital ecosystem where viewers can witness injustice, feel empathy, and act immediately. Audience question: should courts allow outside financial intervention like this, or does it risk undermining fairness for other tenants who don't have a public platform?
And so I'm not really sure how to handle this, Your Honor. This is kind of a first for me that I'm being contacted directly, and I'm sure because my information is more readily locatable, findable on the internet. And so your followers have indicated to me that they want to assist her in making this payment. They have suggested starting a GoFundMe, and
That what?
starting a GoFundMe so they can assist Miss Salisbury in paying this balance. And as I've indicated, I can't advocate for any of this because I believe that may violate my ethical duties to Spice Tree, but I'm relaying to the court what has been communicated to me since I am now in receipt of this correspondence.
You understand that, Ms. Salisbury? Just said.
A little bit.
I guess there are folks out there that want to help you out. I don't mean to chuckle about it, but bad things happen in life, right? And young lady, you've been through some things that are, in my mind, unimaginable. Give yourself credit for being able to just even get up and stand up, because there's a lot of folks that wouldn't be able to do that. I can't even, as I said, fathom that. I can't. Sometimes even sitting in this position, I can't get to, I don't have an understanding of what sometimes can just be evil in the world. I can't.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I do know. And that there is also a lot of good in the world. And that for each of those evil folks that are out there, I'd like to believe that there are 10 times more good people.
Judge Simpson's response is masterful. He neither endorses nor rejects the outside assistance. Instead, he reframes it as evidence of human goodness without letting it distort legal boundaries. This preserves judicial integrity while validating compassion. What's happening here is subtle but powerful. The judge is emotionally grounding Haley before moving into procedural solutions. He's reminding her that survival isn't just about money, it's about connection, accountability, and momentum. This also reinforces why Judge Simpson has such a following. He understands that justice isn't cold, it's structured empathy. But structure still matters, and the next phase of this case will prove that compassion comes with conditions. We are now approaching the turning point of the case, where goodwill must be translated into lawful action.
I don't, and I sometimes when things happen, I don't ask why. I just accept that they do. And Ms. Dornbush had mentioned that these folks were saying they want to help. Those are the good people. No two ways about it. I then, if there wasn't a separation of church and state, I would just say God is good at times, all the time, but certainly at particular times. You know what, Haley? I have to thank you. You even know what I'm thanking you for?
Oh.
I'm thanking you because I always just count my blessings in life. And I always expect to see a miracle, and I always expect to see a blessing every day, or at least hope for one. Never know what it is. And sometimes it's big ones, sometimes it's small ones. You coming here today, me getting to talk with you, me getting to meet you. Court does call the case of Spice Tree versus Haley Salisbury. Haley, how are you today?
Okay.
You're good? All right. You wish to continue to reside in the apartment, right?
If I can.
Ms. Dornbush, I'm going to go into a breakout room with you and Haley and talk to the two of you, okay? And do that because I think you might have some information that I also have some. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I had an opportunity to talk with Haley regarding this matter with reference to payment of the arrearage as well as what may be the lease. there were funds that were collected, and I don't need to mention the amount, but there were funds that were collected. Talked with Haley, and I think she's in agreement that there's going to be 16,000 that needs to be deposited with the court into court escrow.
This is where the case pivots from emotional uncertainty into structured legal relief. Court escrow is not charity, it's control. By ordering funds to be deposited into escrow, Judge Simpson ensures accountability, transparency, and protection for both sides. The money exists, but it cannot be misused, rushed, or misallocated. Legally, this is a stabilization move. The court is effectively freezing chaos and replacing it with order. Haley doesn't receive the money directly, which protects her from immediate financial missteps, and the landlord gains assurance that funds are secured. This is a judge using procedural tools to create breathing room without breaking the law. It also signals trust, but conditional trust. Haley must now demonstrate follow-through, organization, and responsibility. This is no longer about sympathy, it's about execution.
And that can be done by certified funds. All right, the other thing in speaking with her is right down the street. She's going to go down to the University of Michigan Credit Union and open an account there. I'd like that so that you have proof of the opening of that account today, if you can.
Okay.
They're quick. Okay. All right. You have a license, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's all they need. All right. And so you need to open an account there. Then they also have folks that, financial folks that can help you with questions and the like and what you have on that. All right. Also an issue with an agency we're gonna try to get you in touch with regarding furnishings and the like, a nonprofit here, and see what we can do along those lines. We're also going to give you the number to the University of Michigan University of Michigan Legal Clinic.
This moment is easy to overlook, but it's incredibly important. Judge Simpson isn't just resolving today's crisis, he's addressing future failure points. Legal clinics, financial counselors, and nonprofit assistants exist to prevent people from cycling back into court. Judges rarely go this far unless they believe someone can still recover. This is judicial triage. Haley isn't being infantilized, she's being equipped. The judge is effectively saying, I will help, but you must learn to help yourself. From a broader legal perspective, this reflects a modern shift in problem-solving courts, recognizing that unresolved legal ignorance often leads directly back to litigation. Audience question: should courts routinely connect vulnerable litigants to outside resources, or does that cross into social work beyond the judge's role?
To kind of help you manage yourself through some of the legal issues. And I think that was everything we talked about. Is that right, Haley?
I think so, yeah.
All right. Okay. So, Ms. Dornbush, was there anything else?
Nothing, Your Honor. I think we've covered everything, and hopefully we'll have some additional updates by Friday.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Haley, wait a moment. We'll get all that information to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Court's in recess. Court calls the case of Spice Tree Apartments versus Haley Salisbury and also Gavin Wesley. Hello.
Hi.
State your name, sir.
Gavin Wellesley.
Wesley. All right. So where are we on this?
Um,
Well,
Go
hold
ahead.
on. I'll let Ms. Dornbush speak first and then we'll.
the total
ahead.
we're at today, Your Honor, is the $6,143.
Here's where numbers matter again. After all the emotion, the court returns to math, because math doesn't lie. This figure represents unpaid rent, costs, and accumulated charges. The judge acknowledges reality without judgment. This moment reinforces something critical. Empathy does not erase obligation. Even with funds incoming, the court must still reconcile what is owed today, not what might be resolved tomorrow. Haley's situation improves, but it's still fragile. Judge Simpson's tone remains calm, but firm. He's tracking consistency. Is progress being made, or are promises drifting? This is the checkpoint where many cases collapse, but this one continues forward.
$6,143.
That's correct.
Okay. So the other thing didn't come through.
Unfortunately, no, it's not looking.
All right,
good.
that's fair enough. We get it. All right. So you look like you want to tell me something. What do you want to tell me?
No,
Yes, you do. You're looking like you want to say something.
no.
No? Gets up here and then she clams up. All right. So did you get your account open?
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the rest of the funds were put into that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Or we're still working on transferring it, but a lot of them did, yeah.
What does that mean?
So there's like limits on how much you can transfer through apps within like a week period of time or whatever. It's all confusing.
But the account is set up
Yes.
for that's in your name.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And so when do you anticipate you'd have all of that transferred over?
Probably within, I think there's more ways around it. We were trying to do either send it right to the bank, like Zelle, or I don't know. There's ways, I guess, soon. I don't know exactly.
No, that was a 20-year-old answer you just gave me.
Oh,
I get it. No, I get it. That's okay.
This is a defining Judge Simpson moment. Direct, sharp, but not cruel. He calls out vagueness because vagueness is dangerous in court. Soon doesn't pay rent. I don't know doesn't move cases forward. What he's really doing is teaching courtroom discipline. Judges expect clarity, timelines, and accountability, not excuses. Haley isn't being scolded, she's being trained. This is the court saying, if you want the law to protect you, you must speak the law's language. Audience question: do you think judges should correct young litigants like this in real time, or does
So
it
here's
risk
what we're gonna
embarrassing
do.
them under pressure?
So with her, we'll have to figure this all out. But if we added November's rent, no, let's do this. If you were to add November and December rent, how much would that be, Ms. Dornbush?
One moment, Your Honor. The rent's $12.35, Your Honor. So times two. There's 2 static utility charges at $16.50 a month times 2. And then the water sewer is no more, from what I can tell, than $30 per month. So if we just, excuse me, $60 per month. So if we went with that number times 2, so 26.23 added on to the current balance, 61. It looks like $8,766.55.
How much? Cents?
8766.55.
All right, got it. 5.5. Okay.
I'm gonna just double check my math, just to be safe, Judge.
Oh, no, I have 2 staff members. That's exactly what they got. So I
Okay.
think you're good. So here's what we're going to do while you solve that other part of the problem. Haley, we'll have to figure out the rest of it. But what we're going to do is, so you can take a bit of a breath, we're going to pay up through December.
okay.
That sound good? Are you just nodding at me because you're going to agree with the guy in the black robe, or that you want to do?
No, it sounds good. I just don't want it to be a problem with them.
For who?
I don't want them to like worry or anything.
Who?
The apartment.
I know. So what I'm going to do is, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to release 877.66 to Spice Street. Okay.
And is that all the late fees too?
What?
Is that included? Like, I don't know how much all the late fees add up to.
Which late fees? Really?
I'm guessing there's late fees for each.
Okay, just listen. You owe right now, you said 61.43
And
75
55 cents. Yep.
and 55. Okay, so right now, what you owe is 6143.55. Got that? What I just hit, the calculation that we just went through were your rent for November and December, and those charges that you have, like water, the water charge, and you have some other static charges that are in. So everything, put that all together. So your back rent and everything through December, you would owe $8,766.
This explanation is meticulous, and intentionally so. Judge Simpson walks Haley through every component: back rent, utilities, static charges, and future months. There's no ambiguity left. Legally, this protects the ruling from appeal. Practically, it ensures Haley understands that paying through December buys stability, not immunity. The judge is creating a clear ledger of responsibility, one that removes confusion and future disputes. This is also where Haley's situation becomes survivable. Housing through December means time, and time in cases like this is everything.
So there's not going to be any late. I mean, they've got all the late fees and everything from previous. That's already in there in the other one. You follow me?
I know that.
Okay, then what were you asking me about late fees?
Nothing.
No, tell me you're trying to ask me something. Just tell me.
No, it's fine. I don't know.
Haley, I think you figured out. I'm not as stupid as I look. So just if you got a question, just ask. I'll figure it out. Even if you don't think it's going to come out right, just ask me the question.
I don't know exactly what I was just making sure that it was those months added to.
Right. But you won't have late fees if we pay it for November and December.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to release that from the escrow. You still have a sizable chunk in escrow, right? But I'm going to adjourn this out to November 1st. There's a reason why I'm doing that, okay? At that time, it may be that this case then gets dismissed, but you're going to have to make a decision about whether or not you want the rest of your lease paid up. Follow me? Because her lease runs through what date?
I don't have the lease in front of me, Judge, but her move-in date was mid-April, so maybe the end of March,
Okay.
possibly.
That sound about right? That it runs through March? It runs through May?
That could be, Your Honor. They may have signed a slightly longer lease, and if you bear with me, I do have it. I just didn't have it open.
I
You
moved
moved in your
15th.
birthday month of April.
Yeah, the 15th. And if it's 12 months, then it should be.
Oh, actually, Your Honor, it looks like it was a 14-month lease and it expires on June 16th.
Gotcha.
They definitely said it was 12.
What'd you say?
They definitely said it was 12.
Okay, but you got a 14-month lease,
Mhm.
right? And so here's what you got to think about. And I'll need an answer by November 1st. This other amount that I have in escrow, I'm going to hold that, right? And then you are going to have to decide how far you want paid out on this lease so you don't have to worry about it. Okay? But I'm going to let you I want you to think about it and then let you make that decision. Okay? A great deal of the money that's here is really for that purpose. Stabilize you a little bit. Okay? Just want you to think it through and then you're going to give me what your decision is. And then I'll tell you what mine is. But I'll let you speak first next time. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to release that amount. You don't have to worry. You're going to be paid through December. Then we're going to try to figure out if your lease ends in June, how that's going to be paid while you get yourself settled. Got it?
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
I got to get her to actually use the words. Do you have any other questions?
No.
No?
I do, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just curious, since we have kind of the money for this, Is there any way I could find out whether I'll still be on the lease or if there's a way I can come off it without it affecting my record or so and so kind of?
Ms. Dornbush, you don't have an answer to that, do you?
I do actually, and
Okay.
this may play a part in Haley deciding what she wants to do on November 1st. If the lease is paid through the end of the term, then they are willing to release Mr. Wellesley from the lease and it would remain solely in Haley's name. They just need that assurance that the full lease will be covered.
This resolves one of the most legally complex issues in the case. Lease liability is not emotional, it's contractual. The landlord's willingness to remove Gavin is contingent on full payment through the lease term. This is leverage, not punishment. The court ensures the landlord is protected while offering Gavin a path out that won't damage his record. It's conditional fairness. What's important here is timing. Judge Simpson does not force an immediate decision. He gives Haley space to think, because rushed decisions often lead to regret and relapse into court. This is judicial restraint at its best.
You follow that?
Yeah.
So his name comes off if we can make sure that this is paid through June. But I don't want you making that decision right now. I want you to make that decision by November 1st. I want you to kind of think it through. Fair enough? Okay. So see you November 1st, 2024 at
3 p.m. I'm sorry, November 1st, 12 p.m.
12 p.m. Okay?
Okay.
You really want to go now, don't you? You don't like being here, do you? All right, Haley. You take care. All right, young lady.
This case concludes not with a gavel slam, but with guarded optimism. Haley avoids immediate eviction. The rent is stabilized through December. Funds are secured in escrow. Resources are provided, and future decisions are clearly outlined. Judge Simpson demonstrates what balanced justice looks like: firm enforcement of the law paired with structured compassion. He does not excuse debt, but he refuses to let tragedy automatically become lifelong damage. The broader takeaway is powerful. Courts can be places of accountability without being places of despair, but outcomes like this require honesty, follow-through, and responsibility long after the hearing ends. If you found this case as shocking and moving as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.